Cheryl Tucker, second person.
Who's
On
that?
agenda, Cheryl Tucker. Another one.
Hello, I'm going to use this. I'm inviting the people of Villa Park to a Toy for Tots concert on Sunday, the 15th, December 15th at 1 p.m. That will be put on by Community Congregational Church. We have young musicians and other musicians coming in to put on this concert. The donations for the Toys for Tots is what the admission fee is. Please bring a toy. You do not have to. We would enjoy to have you there anyway. For those people that don't know where we're at right now, we're at 136 East Highland Avenue. That's the Calvary Church. We are sharing their facility, but we are putting on a concert, and we would like the village to take part of it and enjoy our concert with our youth. We have several high school kids and junior high kids putting on the performance. We also have some professionals coming in to play also.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Cheryl. Okay. Anyone else? Public comments on non-agenda items? Okay. We have no proclamations tonight. We have item 7.
Mr. President, I'm sorry to interrupt. I believe, Reed, did you have something that you wanted to speak on?
No, I'll wait till January.
Okay.
That's what I figured. Okay, item 7A is our audit presentation. There you go.
Yep, sorry.
Turn it over to Assistant
sorry, we-
Manager Suzanne McVeigh.
We are, we lost audio and I was texting and we're sorry about that. Go ahead, but I think it's back. Go ahead on the audit. I'm sorry, I apologize. This is our finance director, Chuck Howard, has been working hard with Lauterbach and
Yeah,
Omni to get a
and
final.
one of the things, and I'll make it brief because I don't
Audit.
have a final audit. We've been working from a draft for the last couple of weeks. There are a number of things that we needed to get in to them. One of the things in an audit is the management discussion and analysis, which is a very big part of it. Just from the draft, our draft looks consistent with prior years and prior notes. I won't speak too much to the detail because, again, it's not final. We expect their opinion to be favorable for us and for our audit to get through. We've been waiting a long time. We've had a switch of auditors through this process. Each group expects different things, so, and our staff is small, and we've been working with them to get it done. One thing that I want to speak to, one of the, and it's always housekeeping things that they really care about and what we want to do. And one of the things they've always talked to us about is grant reporting, and we are kind of dispersed about how we go about that process. They've always wanted some consolidated place. We are excited, I think, as we move to our new ERP, that we have a few more items and a few more resources that we can use to get that together. We've been talking about the budget and revenues. Grants are a great source of revenue when you're short on things. And it's what I'd like to do, and as I move forward, is to consolidate that, to put it in a format that we can quickly review, to meet with the department heads about their issues and their processes surrounding grants and other intergovernmental revenues that are available to us. And I want to make sure that we do that in a more organized and concise thing. I think what I'd like to do is have this brief discussion and then invite, hopefully next meeting, and we'll try to get this on the agenda where we have our representatives with us here to go over some of the numbers and how they've flown, how that flows year to year. But I just wanted to say that, kind of create a placeholder and kind of put together an initiative that I think is important for all of us as we talk about revenue and budget and what we're going to do going forward.
Chuck, have you talked to the company that's doing the audit? Have you talked to them about doing it next year? Are they on board with that?
They're on board. What we'd like to do next year, because again, I think a lot of what we've experienced this year is lack of staff on both sides. We have put in our finance budget, which is not a big budget in all of the village, is some money for some beginning of the process assistance. Hopefully certainly some guidance of what the auditors need and what we can do to augment our staff, because we only do this once a year, to put together schedules in the right way, in the smooth way, so that they can ask questions to us that flow a little bit better. A lot of back and forth doesn't give us a chance and doesn't help us with bringing things in on a date. So we recognize that. There are a lot of things to do. Our draft audit report is 199 pages, if you'd like to look at that. But and it's a big document, and it is important for us, both for reporting to you and to third parties. And we talk about how it looks for the village, and we want to make sure that we put in our analysis that it is good and consistent with year to year. So when we do have that chance and need to go out to third parties to raise funds for projects, it's all very clear how we operate and what we've done.
Okay. Okay, any questions from the board? Okay, thanks. Thanks, Chuck. Okay, we'll go to our consent agenda. Item 9A is approval of the bill listing for the week of November 20.
Did you skip the appointment?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. We checked it off. I'm sorry. We'll go to item 8A is appointment to the commission. It's the appointment of Michelle McDonald as Commissioner to the Community Fund Commission to a term upon being sworn in until April 30th, 2024. This assumed that she's taking over, not assumed, she is assuming Carla Graff's term, who recently resigned. Okay, do we have a motion for the appointment? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano? Questions or comments? Okay, Clerk Konecki, please.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, now we'll go to item 9, consent agenda, the approval of the bill listing for the week of November 25th, 2024, in the amount of $1,366,345.82, and December 2nd, 2024, in the amount of $404,952.29. Item 9B is approval of the minutes of the Village Board of Trustees meeting held on November 25th, 2024. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kumar, a second. Trustee Corkery, questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Konecki, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, item 10A is an ordinance for a first reading. It's approving a text amendment to Article 6, uses, Article 7, parking, and Article 14, measurements and definitions. Manager Harlan.
This ordinance approves petition PZ 2418 for text amendments for Articles 6, uses, 7, parking, and 14, measurements and definitions. The Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval by a vote of 7 to nothing. And Community Economic Development Director Mark McLaughlin's here to answer any questions. This is, of course, first reading, but if you wanted to learn anything, there's some good changes in there. I think that some things that the staff has been working on for a while took through planning and zoning and is ready for adoption this meeting or next.
Okay. And this, again, is Director McLaughlin's, push to kind of clean up our ordinances and get rid of some stuff that doesn't make sense and move things around, and which this went through planning and zoning pretty easily. So it's not a whole lot of changes, but it's good changes. So any discussion on that, or if anyone wants to waive first reading? Trustee Kumar.
I am going to make a motion to waive the first reading on this particular.
Okay, do we have a second?
Yep.
Okay, second.
Yeah, I'll
Trustee
make that motion, yes.
Cordova, okay. Questions or comments? Clerk Kornecki?
Okay, trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
President Consone.
Yes. Okay, so with that, do we have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Cordova? Okay, second motion for the ordinance. Trustee Corkery? Okay, any questions or comments on the ordinance itself? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Corkery, President Consone.
Yes. Okay, item 10B is an ordinance amending section 3-13A of Chapter 3 of the Villa Park Municipal Code in order to increase by one the maximum amount of licenses permitted under the Class L liquor license classification. Andrew Hartline.
Simply, this ordinance will add one Class L license, increasing the total to one Class L license, as we recently created this type of license. Background check report came back without cause. Staff is ready to do whatever the elected officials would like to do with this ordinance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, questions or comments on the ordinance? Trustee Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. President. If we could just have Director McLaughlin explain what a Class L is for our residents and what that entails, and if anything that could involve a potential gaming license.
Good evening. So if you guys recall, the Class L was created last year, and it's specifically for banquets, and the banquet being that it has to be a prearranged time. It's not just an open location like a bar or a restaurant, pre-existing, by appointment events, and it is technically a pour license, so it would also technically qualify for the state law for a gaming license. But then again, if it went that route, which I'm not saying that it is, but if it went that route, you could only game when it's actually pour is in place, which is going back to the banquet, when events are scheduled and when the room is rented out. Additionally, Alma Reyes is here. She is the owner of Epic Banquets, who's been working with staff for 2 years now.
Yes,
With the
yes,
build out and getting that business operational, and this was her last step to get that going. So, and she's here for any questions for you guys as well.
Okay. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Having me.
Just as far as your business plan goes, do you plan on having gaming in your establishment?
No.
Okay, thank you.
It's a building that is just being remodeled with all the electrical and fire department went through and we finished everything. It's been a big improvement in the real estate. This event is going to be only for no max than 8-9 hours. Family event is focused to family events. Also for small events for 5 or 6 hours, and that will be for the small packages. Some of the families, they don't have a backyard where to celebrate birthdays, graduations, weddings. We have all the equipment. We have also liability insurance, and also we've been hired a company for security guards. So no events is going to be in action without security guards. Also, we've been having educational events with the University of Illinois. And also, we're planning to use the building Monday to Thursday for young dancers and young musicians. And I've been working with some schools. So my focus is to target the youth, to have more activities with the youth. And also any special events the community might have, like the sanitation for COVID-19. Any use the village would like to use the building is open doors for more communication and education to the community.
Thank you.
Trustee Kumar.
I would just like to say I appreciate this kind of a business model. I appreciate your taking all this effort. I think it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful addition to our community in terms of a business. And and I hope you thrive, and this is exactly what we're looking for in Villa Park.
Thank you very much for having me.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes, I want to reiterate what Trustee Kumar said. Thank you for your patience as we ironed out some things here on our end.
Thank
But
you very
Thank you
much.
for your investment.
Thank you.
And for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. So this is a first reading on this, unless someone wants to waive it. Trustee Kumar?
I would like, she's waited for quite a bit. I would like to waive the first reading on this particular thing, so she can go ahead and open up shop there.
Okay. We have a motion to waive the first reading. Do we have a second?
A second.
Trustee Kozar? Okay, questions or comments? Okay, Clerk Kornecki, to waive the first reading.
Okay, Trustee Cordova,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Alfano,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Okay, so do we have a motion for the ordinance
I'll make
itself?
that motion.
Trustee Cordova, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano? Okay, any questions or comments on the ordinance itself? You seeing none, Clerk Kornecki?
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Patrick,
Yes.
Trustee Alfano,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Cordova,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes, so that passes and you're all set to go. So be in contact with Director McLaughlin. And good luck to you. Glad to see you here. Thank you. Okay, move on to ordinances. Item 11A is an ordinance levying taxes for the fiscal year of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, commencing on the first day of January 2024 and ending on the 31st day of December 2024, collectible in 2025. Manager Harling.
This ordinance sets the rate for property taxes levied for the property value assessed as of December 31, 2024, collectible in calendar year 2025. The current version of the ordinance is prepared for adoption. Just two real quick comments. I know the some people in the back row are very interested in this and making sure that the library gets their levy approved. I don't think there's any question about approving the amount that they've requested. And then I guess the biggest question, based on what our discussion earlier was tonight, is if we are going to raise that base for the taxes that are collected by the village and concomitantly raise that base for what's being paid by the village businesses and other property and homeowners and other property owners in the village. And those are two, both are perfectly legitimate positions, and I think it's good to have a discussion about those legitimate positions. The village can work with either one. If you raise the property tax and make no tax cuts, you will subtract 3.54 days from the fund balance. That would be, that is probably my least favorite option, but that is also an option, and that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Kumar. Okay, do we have a second for the ordinance? Trustee Cordova? Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Kozar.
My comment is the same as before. It's time to give our people in Villa Park a break on their property taxes. Every year we raise their property taxes, and this is an opportunity, given inflation and everything else that's going on, that Villa Park wants to simply freeze your property taxes as we can control them. That's not going to keep your property taxes. It's not going to lower your property taxes. You're actually going to continue to pay because the county does the majority of the taxing. But it sends a statement to all our residents that we're doing what we can to not ask you for more money all the time.
Any other comments? Okay. Clerk Kornecki.
Trustee Alfano,
I just have a comment. We're on 11A, correct?
yes.
Correct.
Because I thought we were talking about abatement.
I thought we were talking about abatement too.
The next couple of ordinances are abating.
Yeah, I think when we were reading, we were talking about abatement, which was kind of confusing. But that's okay. Maybe I'm just,
Yes, so,
Corcoran? Oh, I'm sorry,
so
Trustee
then I
Alfano?
have more questions before. we go on. So my question then here is this for this ordinance that was left on at our seats today? Is this what we're voting on right now? That we came to?
Suzanne, this is the property.
This
yes.
is,
Yes.
and this was not in the packet, correct?
It was not in a packet. That we added it at this afternoon, so it would
So
not
I
have
would
been.
like to make a motion that we table this until the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion to postpone this ordinance until December 16th.
Mr. President, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay, any questions or comments on that? Okay, Clerk Renecki,
We have a question, I
oh,
think.
sure.
So this ordinance is to
Set the levy.
set the levy the way we have been doing it in years past, to keep up with the usual progression.
Yes, this version incorporates the 2.87% increase in the property tax.
And can I just ask the other trustees why they want to table this to the next meeting?
Trustee Patrick.
Sure, I think from our earlier discussions from committee as a whole, there are some other trustees that are requesting additional information. Again, just to reiterate, this does not have to be decided tonight. It does have to be decided by the end of the year. So I think given that we take an extra, our next meeting is the 16th, I believe, gives, I think, ample time to get that information and make informed decisions.
Okay. Okay, anyone else? Okay, Clerk Renecki, to motion to postpone this until December 16th.
Okay, trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Kosar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick.
Yes.
President Costello.
Yes, okay, so we will bring this back up at our next meeting a week from tonight. Item 11B is an ordinance abating the tax hereto levied for the year 2024 to pay the principal of and interest on $3,010,000 general obligation alternate bonds, sales tax alternate revenue source, Series 2017 of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois. Manager Harline.
As part of the annual property tax process, the village routinely abates property tax levy for debt service where it has certain funds available to pay the debt. Abating the property tax means we are informing the county that we do not need a property tax revenues to pay the debt service on these bonds. These bonds were issued as part of our plan to manage TIF-3 debt, which had insufficient revenue to cover increasing debt service payments. Because we have postponed item 11A, we should postpone 11B, 11C, 11D, and actually 11E, because all of those depend upon the tax rate.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kumar.
I then make a proposal. Can I make a proposal now to postpone?
You can make a motion to postpone.
I'll make a motion to postpone 11B, 11C, 11D, and 11E
Yes.
till next meeting.
We
I
can
will
do all
sec-
those all at once?
I will second.
Yeah, okay.
I will second.
Trustee Alfano? Okay, any questions or comments? Trustee Patrick?
One question is that I know that we've been doing a lot of talk about the levy. I had some other input or suggestions, regardless, separate issue about the budget that I would like to bring up and talk about for the board's discussion. And I didn't talk about it at the public hearing because we were planning on this. So when could we bring that up? Because based on what we talk about, it might affect the budget being an item in the budget.
Discuss this
We could amend them.
Okay, yeah, okay. We can bring it up at unfinished business.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so there's a motion to postpone items 11B, C, D, and E until December 16th. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, Clerk Renecki.
Okay, trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Cordova,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes, so we will bring that, all 4 items up on the 16th. Okay, move on to resolutions. Item 12A is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Era Valdivia Contractors, Inc. of Chicago, Illinois, for the Plymouth Street Elevated Water Storage Tank Repainting Project, including alternates A1, A2, A3, and A4, in an amount of $786,849. Manager Harlan.
This resolution authorizes the village president to execute a contract for the Plymouth Street Elevated Water Storage Tank Repainting Project, including alternates A1, A2, A3, and A4. Excuse me.
Bless you.
The project was publicly advertised and competitively bid, with a bid opening held November 21, 2024. The village received 5 bids, with the lowest responsible bid being submitted by Era Valdivia Contractors of Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $786,849. Staff recommends approval of the resolution to award a contract to Era Valdivia Contractors for the Plymouth Street Elevated Water Storage Repainting Project, including all 4 alternates, for an amount not exceeding $786,849. So we have some experience with this company, and they've done a good job before. And if you remember a few minutes ago when we were talking about the water tank project, I believe we budgeted $950,000. So in an ideal situation like this, we went out for bid. We got 5 bids. We got an excellent one, and we're about $200,000. Well, we're about $195,000 under budget. So it worked pretty well. So,
Okay. Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kumar? We have a second? Trustee Corkery? Any questions or comments? Trustee Kumar?
I am very happy that we are under budget, and that's what the bidding process does, and that's good. I am gonna say something on a caveat that we oftentimes get bids that have change orders that are lower than we expect. And I think that this particular bid and this particular project probably will not have that problem, so I'm not really concerned. However, it is something that we need to address in each bid, on the bids we take, what our contracting process is with all the bids that we take when we talk about fiscal responsibility, because the change orders at times may be more than the second lowest bid or whatever, so we need to make that stronger in many of our contracts, and this comes back to our community center really, and the bids changing considerably from what we initially thought. So I really want that process going forth as a part of our fiscal responsibility. And I'm just using this particular resolution to address that. There's no problem with this particular resolution in my mind, however.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Okay, Clerk Konecki.
Okay, trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Item 12B is a resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Villa Park and the City of Elmhurst for the Riverside Drive and Illinois 83 Improvement Project. Manager Harlan.
this resolution authorizes the village president to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Elmhurst to include the Village of Villa Park for improvements to the Illinois 83 and Riverside intersection. The City of Elmhurst has an engineering agreement with Trans Systems Corporation for Phase 1 engineering services to begin designing improvements to their portion of the intersection of Illinois 83 with Riverside Drive. This agreement will allow the Village of Villa Park to be included, so improvements to the western side of the intersection can be included for efficiency of design, safety, and cost effectiveness of any improvements to the intersection. The total cost of the Phase 1 engineering is $406,178, for which the Village of Villa Park will be responsible for $122,321. Staff recommends approval of the IGA to begin looking at improvements to the village's portion of the intersection to improve its efficiency and safety. Public Works Director Mark Ware is here on hand to answer any questions about the project.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kumar, we have a second? Trustee Cordova? Okay, questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Herneke, please.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, we removed item 12C for tonight. Item 12D is a resolution approving and authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Board of Education of School District 88, student tuition payments, St. Charles Road, TIF. Manager Harline.
This resolution authorizes the village president to enter into an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, with the School District 88, D88 of DuPage County with respect to student tuition payments for the property to be known as the Union in St. Charles Road Commercial Corridor TIF District. The agreement sets up a formula to limit the tuition payments owed to D88 to a dollar amount approximately equal to the amount owed for the projected number of students expected to move into D88 and live in the Union apartments. There is a provision to attempt to make D88 whole if the number of students exceeds projections. Staff recommends approval of the resolution. This is very close to the agreement that we already have signed and executed with D45. This will provide additional stability when we go to the bond market for that project, as we have limited the risk of student payments interfering with our ability to pay back any GO bonds that we might sell.
Okay, thank you.
And I'd like to thank both school districts for being very cooperative and working with us, and they were very, very understanding of the value of the project to the village, to them, but also working really well in cooperation with us.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that
Okay,
motion.
do we have a second? Trustee Cordova? Okay, questions or comments? I too would like to thank both school districts. They were very, very responsive to this, which is really nice. They, like Manager Harline said, they really understand the benefit to the village and then eventually to the school district. So thanks to both of them. Okay, Clerk Herneke.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, item 12E is a resolution approving the annual budget of the Sugar Creek Golf Course for the calendar year 2025. Manager Harline.
This resolution approves the 2025 Sugar Creek Golf Course budget as required under the intergovernmental agreement in Section V2 between Village of Villa Park and the Elmhurst Park District. The Sugar Creek Administrative Board recommends passage, and the resolution staff concurs and recommends passage. Director Gola from Parks and Recreation is here to answer any questions about this. This does not include any money to, we would still get the $50,000 a year towards the village, as assuming that they're, and then assuming that those monies are paid, I think they still are showing about a $48,000 net gain this year.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar? Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Patrick?
Thank you. Earlier, I believe Cheryl Tucker had made some comments under public comments about the budget itself, and I was looking if we could get some clarification from Director Gola.
Good evening. Thank you, Trustee Patrick. Yes, Cheryl, so you had a question on the, if we had the staff to do a feasibility study. It's similar to the Kluber, what Kluber did with the assessments of our buildings, the assessment and assessing the conditions of the maintenance garage over at the golf course. That's why you need to hire an outside firm to do those assessments and then make recommendations as far as the replacement of that building. The building has been around for a little less than 50 years. And this is a standalone budget. It's not part of the village's corporate budget.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kumar?
I think Cheryl talked about the stairs being fixed or something of that sort. If that could be internally done. I don't think she was talking about the Kluber budget. She just wanted fiscal feasibility study to be moved to a different year possible, was her thinking process, which, I mean, I think it's fine in the budget, but it's anyway, her thought process was that. Can we get her to speak again on what she said, President Kazone? Can she repeat what she said?
Did
sorry,
did
I
they
thought it
answer
was
your
me.
question? Cheryl?
He answered my question on the maintenance thing.
Okay.
Why we need
It was a maintenance facility.
Okay.
Why we don't have maintenance, or we have two maintenance departments, one for us and one for the village of Elmhurst. Why have we
You, if, you- yeah, why don't you,
Then why don't you come and explain again?
My question is, a lot of the things on this budget, we're contracting out for maintenance things. And Elmhurst and us both have a maintenance department. Why are they looking to contract out to do the stairs and other maintenance things that possibly could be done in-house? Was my question, because there's a couple of them on here that look like they're maintenance things that could have been done in-house, either by Elmhurst or us, rather than
Kevin,
contracting out.
Superintendent over there has done a lot of in-house maintenance, like he's replaced that whole deck. The stairs needed the new railing system. He doesn't have that, needing to weld it to the concrete, so he had to hire out for that. As far as the maintenance facility, which I thought about, which you were questioning about the feasibility study, that was for the maintenance garage itself, the building. And the location, the site over there is rather small, so they have to assess what can be put on that site if we were to replace that building. It's in disrepair. It's getting old. It's 50 years old.
So basically, he is using in-house when he can.
Oh,
For the,
definitely, yeah. Kevin
'cause it
Kevin
looked
is
like
really
there's a
good
lot
at.
of line items on this budget where it looks like they were contracting out to do those things.
Is-
But we
Yeah,
are
he
using in-house
does a
when we
lot of
can. Okay.
inside work, and he has him and his staff do that, yes.
okay.
So the maintenance, the garage that they're thinking of replacing is for the purpose of doing in-house maintenance? What's the purpose?
The garage stores all their mower equipment, that's where they, in the wintertime, that's where they sharpen their blades, that's where they repair their equipment, that's where they store some of their items, or mostly equipment, like the fertilizer and everything, they have storage units, but
So that's basically all in-house?
their
then?
office is over there, the parks, the superintendent, golf course superintendent's office is over there, yes.
So they're just, they're just looking at the building where they do all their in-house stuff?
Correct,
Okay.
for the feasibility study
Yeah.
portion. yeah.
Okay, any other question? Trustee Cordova?
And just for clarification, it's that red building right off of Village, correct? Right by the
Yeah,
bridge?
right by the-
Yeah, it looks pretty bad, so next time anybody's driving by there, take a look. It's like rusted and it's pretty bad.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thanks, Greg. Okay, seeing no questions, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Alfano,
Yes.
Trustee Cordova,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery,
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Okay, item 13A is unfinished business. We took the update of Hawthorne Ecoterra off, but I think Trustee Patrick wanted some comments on the budget.
Thank you. Earlier today in Committee of the Whole, our Finance Director, Chuck Howard, used a phrase that I'm going to use right now because I like it. He called us, as public servants, we are stewards of the residents. And I think that's important to understand that that is what our objective should be up here, is to be stewards of the residents. So I really appreciate that statement. A common theme that you hear us talk about up here a lot is how do we make a lot of these processes easier for our residents? And over the last few months, we've made some of these changes. Director McLaughlin has been listening to the board and helping us achieve some of this, of how we can make some of these processes in the village easier for our residents. In October, I believe right around there, the village released our new village app, which I believe offers a solution that makes things easier for our residents, like filing concerns or complaints or what have you. If you haven't seen the app, I highly recommend downloading it. Check it out. It offers a lot. It offers you accessibility to the village and some of the processes that we talk about making easier here. In doing so, recently, I asked our village manager to produce some information on this app, and I appreciate you doing that for me. The information that I got is I wanted to see what kind of information this was generating for us as a board. Where were our concerns from our residents? What was the major concerns? What were these issues? And in doing so, I found out that over half in the time period of October 1st to November 30th of using this new app that was released, over half, over 51% of those concerns came about tree trimming and tree removal, which I understand. In my conversations with residents, this is one of the main concerns that we have out there is our trees, how it looks. After all, we are the garden village. People are talking about their trees. We should be proud of them. So over 51% of our residents that had access to this app were more concerned about the trees and the trimming and the maintenance of our parkway trees. Believe it or not, there were 177 people that filed some sort of complaint or concern about this. Now, the very next item that people were concerned about, mind you, that was 177. The very next issue was only 36 complaints, and that was about dead animal removal, okay? There's a big gap between 177 and 36, but I'll continue. 35 complaints were about street repairs, which is understandable. We have a lot of those too, and we need to be paying attention to that as well. Another 35 were about neighbor complaints and concerns. The dead animal removal, the street repair, and the neighbor complaint concerns are only 15% of the total amount of those resident concerns. Whereas again, over 51% of the residents using this app talked about our parkway trees in one capacity or another. So what I want to bring up to the board for consideration, being that we are talking about budgeting here, is that first of all, Brian Roche has done an outstanding job with the resources that he has had to do this position here. We have 125 total acres in Villa Park, 100 acres at 15 park sites, which includes the Prairie Path and the Great Western Trail, 25 acres of other village spaces such as village buildings, pump stations, well houses, dead ends, right-of-ways, the North Avenue medians, drainage areas. We have 10 playgrounds. We have 4 village baseball, softball fields, 6 school district softball fields. That's a mouthful. That's a lot, all right? Our parks building and grounds staff only has 8 full-time people and 10 seasonal people. So here we are always asking to do more with less, okay? And I want to, first of all, call out Brian Roche for doing such a great job for doing more with less, okay? But I would like our board to consider a couple of things, is that when we talk about ourselves as being stewards of the residents and listening to them, to me, this information that's provided here is a clear indication that our parkway trees are a major concern and not just part of something. There is a huge gap between 51% and 5% of the 2 top areas here. So just another thing is that in 2024, I believe it shows that we planted only 60 parkway trees. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm looking at the presentation that you did a couple meetings ago. And in 2025, we're estimated to plant only 70 trees. Trustee Kozar, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in years past, you have made an initiative to try to plant more trees in Villa Park.
Every year.
Every year. We are the Garden Village. I agree that we need to plant more trees. I also understand the fact that we have a limited staff and a limited budget in that capacity as well. But with the glaring need, especially coming from our residents, I'm asking this board to consider the fact that we might want to look into funding or some alternate source of funding, so that way we can plant more trees, so that way we can also help Brian, whether that be with additional staff in the future or whatnot, to help us keep up with this demand with our parkway trees and keeping Villa Park looking beautiful and maintaining that image as the Garden Village. So moving forward, I ask that this next week you look at this portion of the budget. And when we come back to it at our next meeting, maybe we could have some ideas in which we could implement to help Brian achieve that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Move on to item 14A. New business is discussion on declaring certain real property surplus, specifically certain lots on North Princeton Avenue. Manager Hartline.
Thank you, President Kazone. So this discussion is about whether or not the village might want to consider declaring as surplus 3 vacant lots on North Princeton Avenue. And Director McLaughlin has a presentation to make about this. If you remember when we were talking about during the October 1 budget presentation, we talked about a subdivision on North Princeton. This is related to that. And I'll turn it over to Director McLaughlin.
Good evening again. Yes, so this evening, we have to have a discussion about declaring surplus property before we actually declare surplus property, and that'll be something that Attorney Wolf and I would prepare if you guys give us the go-ahead tonight. But for the conversation, we do have a petition in front of us right now to develop a new subdivision on North Princeton Avenue, just north of Wildfire. The developer, who is in the room with his cohorts here, own 9 lots on the west side of Princeton Avenue. It's where the dead end is right now. They own the 9 on the other side of that. They're proposing to put in new road, appropriate turnaround for vehicles, and including emergency vehicles, sidewalks, curbs, parkway trees, just like a brand-new road extending out. And with doing that, they own one side of the road, but they're putting in a road that can accommodate both sides. The village owns 3 lots, not part of the parks, but 3 vacant lots on the east side of the property. It's in the second attachment after my memo. So in yellow is their ownership, and in red is the village's ownership. And then there's 3 in blue that are other owners, but they have 3 vacant lots just on that side as well. So it's up to them if they want to pursue them, but we're talking about the red ones today. So as you can see, everything's addressed. It's just 3 lots that sometime back in the day we acquired somehow, not exactly sure, but they are ready and ripe for development once a road goes in. And for that, I will open up to any questions, and they're here if you have any questions for them as well.
Mark, do you know when we purchased that?
I do not.
Okay. There's nothing in the county records or anything?
I could not find anything specific to those 3.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Trustee Kumar.
Is that in any TIF?
It is not. It is outside of TIF 3. So it is not in the TIF district. This is just a regular transaction of us selling land or the equivalent of us buying land.
Okay. Trustee Cordova.
North Princeton ends at a dead end down there, is that correct?
That's correct.
And then there's a little weird street down there, Sydney, that
Yeah.
turns, is that where you're talking? So North Princeton will remain a dead end?
North Princeton will remain a dead end, but with a cul-de-sac, so an appropriate turnaround, not a true dead end, because the pond at the park has got floodplain that we cannot continue to the road to continue to Sydney. It has to stop. We can never make that connection. So,
Wasn't there a large pipe that went through there not super long ago, or replacement of a pipe?
Yeah, I believe what you might be referring to is our water main that we had a burst several years ago that we're looking through our CDBG application to replace that water main. But that pipe goes continually underground from the south side of Princeton to the north side.
Okay, and that won't have any impact on this?
If we can get a better serve this future subdivision.
that pipe's in the Princeton right-of-way, even though there's not a road on top of it. It's still in that 66 feet.
Got it, okay. Then just one more. Would we be able to do both at the same time as they're breaking ground Or is that gonna, if,
Do both of what?
so, not do both? They're gonna tear up that whole space, right? We don't have to do anything with that main there?
Any improvements to that main would be on their subdivision improvements. New service connections to all of the lots that we're discussing and all curb, street, they would be a developer of that
Of that
continued
whole
right of way.
space, all right, cool.
Including stormwater. That's another very significant component.
Trustee Kumar.
I'm actually very favorable to this. It's 3 lots of land in a dead zone, which are now being developed into residential, which is a very good thing. We need more residential. What kind of plans do they have for the development? Can we hear it from the developer?
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
So,
Could you just state your name, please?
My name is Robert Obrzut, and I am the project coordinator for the developer, MJ Princeton LLC. And we are planning to develop 9 lots with residential single-family homes. But unfortunately, with the village lots, we won't be able to develop them because we need to do a stormwater runout. And our proposal, and we would like to ask the village for donation of those lots so that we can put a retention, stormwater retention in those lots. Because of the street and cul-de-sac, there's going to be a lot of water runoff. We do have an engineer that, please come in. This is Christian. And
Yeah, so because of the disturbance, it will be approximately 3.6 acres of disturbance. We are required to provide approximately 1.5 acre-feet of detention for the stormwater runoff. Therefore, that, I'm not sure if we don't have the plans here, but that pond would be proposed on the east side of Princeton Avenue, right before the cul-de-sac, adjacent to the existing pond, but not connected to it. It will only be connected via an outlet, stormwater outlet. We would also be staying out of the floodplain with all of our improvements.
Trustee Kumar.
So basically, that land is, trustee, Mark.
Yes.
Losing it. Their plan for the improvement is basically just kind of, in a way, extending that pond into what is kind of land that we're not really using at this point, or is unusable.
It is. So I will be frank. This is the first time I've heard the request of a donation. I was not prepared to have a discussion on donation this evening.
Yeah.
So.
we are, may I? We are sorry that this came up, but what we did was, we did get a response from the village. And for the engineer, he had to figure out what to do with the runoff water, with the stormwater. And this is the only way that we can manage the water to be absorbed through the, because originally we thought maybe we asked for one for the cul-de-sac, or maybe 2 of them just for the cul-de-sac. But then, as you can see, that's the area right by the cul-de-sac, east of the cul-de-sac, that would be the retention pond to hold the stormwater.
Yeah. This is a discussion we're going to have because the village is limited on what we can donate. You know, we're restricted by statute.
If we can maybe, please, Christian, maybe you can say, maybe we can, change the requirements for the stormwater runoff. Then, if we can save a lot, we would be more than happy to purchase it. Because, for us, purchase the lot and develop it is what we're looking for. It's just that, we don't know what to do with that water.
Well, you know, I just looking at Director McLaughlin, this is the first you heard of this?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is something that Director McLaughlin's going to have to look at this and then bring this back for discussion. Trustee Corkery.
I'll just say that for my part, I'd definitely be happy to look at selling the land, but I have no interest in giving it away.
Yeah, and I would be premature to comment on the donation aspect. One of the components is that it's regional stormwater, but that's one way to go the donation route, because then the village would actually be, we wouldn't be donating it. It would be in the village's hands, because it's regional stormwater. But again, this is the first time that I'm hearing
And
this
another
particular
thing is
request, so.
that we would be donating the street and the cul-de-sac.
Right.
Because that would be villages now. We have to construct that, so.
So, those are all requirements anyway.
Yeah.
So, again, this is not prepared for this conversation.
Trustee Kumar.
Given that this needs to sit on the docket a little bit, I think we will wait on even commenting as a board. I'm not prepared to comment on this until all the details are ironed out. I understand things will change, but I am very happy that you're coming in to do this project. We'll figure out a strategy, I hope, as a village to make it happen. But at the same time, we are under certain obligations as a village board, and we do have to follow the laws and do things in the proper manner.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to make a motion that we move this to our January 13th meeting.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah, this
would-
is just a discussion, so. we
If you
can-
would not even do date certain,
Yeah.
I'll bring it
Yeah.
back when we're ready, because this
problem.
conversation
Strike
may
that
drastically
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is just discussion anyway,
Okay.
so,
I do appreciate that, but
yeah.
I wouldn't want to.
Staff will proceed working with the developer to see what we can bring back.
And we
in terms of
definitely
other
would like to see
options.
this go, but, you know, we have to make sure the village is covered. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Director McLaughlin, anything else?
No.
Okay. Okay, we have no village commission reports tonight, village clerk's report.
No report tonight,
Okay,
thanks.
trustees report, we will start on my left. Trustee Alfano?
Thank you. I want to congratulate the newest member of the Fund Commission, Michelle McDonald. I know that she will be a great addition to our commission. A reminder with the holidays and the difficulties that come during this time of year for many of our neighbors. 211 is the number to call, or text when you, as they say, don't know who to call. For food, for housing, for utilities, and other health and social services resources that are available. It's 211. And then on a personal note, also, we do have the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline. That services both in Spanish and in English. Again, with the holidays upon us, some folks may find a need to reach out. 988 is that number to call, or you can go to 988lifeline.org. I lost a very close friend from high school to suicide during the holiday season many years ago, but her loss is still felt every day. And it's the reason why I remind my neighbors that those signs that you see around town aren't to just talk. So would you text and call and chat 988, because you do matter. And thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Kumar?
No report today.
Trustee Corkery?
No report this week.
Okay, Trustee Patrick?
Thank you. Over the last weekend, my boys and I, we had the opportunity to volunteer for the Chamber of Commerce to help string lights on the Prairie Path Christmas trees. It was a cold day, but we got them all done. It was a lot of fun. With that being said, I would like to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting Joyful Traditions. It's an annual event that they host every year that really does bring the community together, is something that I really do appreciate. So I just wanted to thank the Chamber of Commerce for all of their volunteer work and all of the work that they've done to make an event like Joyful Traditions very successful. Outside of that, it is the holidays. I want to wish everybody happy holidays and be safe out there. Thank you.
Trustee Cordova?
No report today.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
We had somebody stand up during public comments, Rolf Lautrant, if I'm pronouncing that name right. he brought up a idea and, about putting a referendum on the agenda. And I'm wondering if we can put that on the agenda for discussion for next meeting, and if our village attorney could perhaps look at that and, maybe inform us as to what that would, you know, what that would mean, what that would require.
Okay. Put that on for discussion. Sure. Okay.
Do we need to vote on that, or, I mean, I don't,
Does anybody else want to see it on the agenda? Just, yes. Okay, I got 2 people. We're good.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Anything else?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay, village president's report, it's a couple of things. As trustee Patrick said, Joyful Traditions was this past Saturday, and it was a really good event. The weather was a little windy, but it was fairly warm. I was able to ride the fire engine with Santa Claus, so thanks to Chief Stapleton and our fire department for doing that. I got to hand it to Santa. He's been doing this for 25, 30 years at Joyful Traditions, and I think he enjoys it as much as the kids do, seeing him. He was a little under the weather. He had a knee problem, but he stuck it out, and probably 2 hours up there granting children's wishes. So thanks to the chamber, and thanks to Santa Claus for being with us last week. And the 21st, which is a week from the Saturday, is electronic recycling from 9 till 12 on Home Street. Villa Park residents, make sure you bring a driver's license. I believe they are accepting Christmas lights, too. So if you have old Christmas lights that aren't working, we can recycle those. And we go to the village managers.
Just really quick, encourage any staff, any elected officials to reiterate any questions electronically or by email if you can. We'll go through the video and try to make sure we got all the questions for next meeting. We really would like to adopt the budget at the next meeting. So I appreciate Trustee Patrick bringing up the My Villa Park app, which is part of the GoGov system. Ironically, only about 12% of our requests now are coming in by app, 3% by Android. iPhone's about a little over 8%, and about 56% are still coming by phone. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it's a little easier. I mean, it's if you're on site, you can take a picture, you can get it in. Sometimes it's easier to get that comment to us directly by the app. And also, it's automatically entered into and that's not taking a staff person's time, so it's a little more efficient for us. And we've put it on Facebook. We've done some, but you never know where somebody is looking for their information. So if you go to just Google My Villa, if you go to the App Store or the Google Play, My Villa Park, and then the last thing. So next meeting we'll have I'm going to put on the agenda moving the Committee of the Whole from the 13th to the 27th, so that we have the evening of the 13th free to do the ribbon cutting at the new Villa Park Recreation Center. Moving it back, both to make sure that our trustees can all be there. We know that you're all free on the 13th. We think you're all free at the 13th that evening. And also our state legislatures. As you know, the state legislature worked to get us $10 million towards the construction of that facility. So I think it's the best thing to show gratitude. And but we will be doing an opening on the 3rd, and it'll be open for business. And we look for it's a magnificent facility, and I think it's one of those things where we've got a lot of buildings that we use that weren't built for the purpose that they're used for, which makes life a little more difficult. And the police station is one of those buildings that was made for what it's used for, and it's still imperfect, but we've got a very nice facility built specifically for recreation. The Public Works and Community Economic Development are an old police station. The ICC is an old school. So this is a building that was built for this purpose, designed for this purpose, and I think it's going to be, it's also a third space where we come together as a community to do things together. There's meeting room space, there's exercise space, there's I think it's going to be something that's unique, and I can brag about it all I want, because all the ideas to how to build it, or almost all the ideas of what goes into it, were done before I was here, and I can't take any credit for that, and that's,
Sure can.
but I think it's a real gem, and I think this community should be proud of what it's accomplished.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Fennel?
I have one suggestion about the app. Can we put the QR code on the agenda or post it above where people get the agenda?
Sure.
Because then they can just download
That's a
it.
good idea. I think so. I don't think that's a problem.
I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
Okay.
Suzanne's a little bit more techie than I, so significantly more.
I think,
Trustee Kumar.
I'd like to just say, it is true that I think a lot of people would avail themselves if we do a little bit more of push towards getting people to sign on to the app. Maybe at some of our events, we can have a person convincing people to sign on into the app. I think that might be one thing we can do, because sometimes going around, and maybe some of us trustees would volunteer taking around an iPad and showing people how to sign up and the benefits.
Okay, good. Anything else? Well done.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry, yes.
Okay,
We're already in the rebuttal section of the village manager.
there you go, okay. Okay, no executive session tonight, so we have a motion to adjourn. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Second, Trustee Corkery, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we will see everybody back a week from tonight. Now, we're a week early due to the holidays, so have a
Said they were
safe
talking
week
with the
and
trustee.
enjoy the upcoming holidays.